My Bulls will be on the line this podcast, and I'm going to say how they make the grand final and probably win it. No, I don't actually believe they'll win it, but
Just for the views.
I may as well. Fremantle home game. Bullbags. The Bullies. Yuck. Hate that nickname.
Your typing face, you look.
Oh, I was really like... Look, it looks like I've seen some shit at home, haven't I? All right.
Mum suit.
All right. Freo versus our Bulldogs.
Mum suit.
Yeah, this is the shared ones. I get everything on this one.
Oh, yeah. Chris Carr.
All right. 3, 2, 1. G'day and welcome back to the Wing It podcast. The finals preview for the Saturday night game between Fremantle and the Western Bulldogs. You're not as keen for this as I am, but no. I am so keen for this because I am balls deep in Fremantle.
I feel like I just already know what's going to happen. I know what kind of game it's going to be. I know the outcome. But anyway, we will get into it. Freo, surprise of the year, just about.
100% surprise packet of the year.
We could say
Collingwood. Yeah, 100% I'll take that back.
But Collingwood didn't surprise us whatsoever. We saw it coming.
Not the Wing It podcast surprise. No.
But even to the point where when we did the season previews for every team, the first team we both thought of that we didn't want to do was...
Fremantle.
Exactly. So, honestly, blown me out of the water this year. I could not believe it. When I heard people pre-season saying, yep, they'll make the finals, they could go top 6, I'm thinking, I don't see where the progression's coming from.
Neither did I.
I don't see the jump. I didn't see the potential last year, but wow, they've been unreal.
They've been fantastic, and their Swiss Army knife in Nat 5 hasn't even really scratched the surface this year. No. He's had 3 weeks off. He's trained hard. He's ready. He's raring to go from all accounts. He won't play midfield this week, but you assume he goes on the forward line, which is the perfect replacement for Rory Lobb, who'll be out this week. So yeah. I think he's going to have a big game. I think this team's primed and they're ready to go.
Yeah, they're just so structurally sound.
I love it. They are the best coached team in the AFL, I want to say.
They are. Like week to week, you know exactly what you're going to get from them. They're going to do the same thing, and it's so hard to go against. Yep. So I feel like I know what Freo's going to rock up and I know what they're going to do.
100%. Now, the Bulldogs, they've underperformed as a whole this year.
Yeah.
Grand final last year to making the finals by, what was it, 0.5%?
Yeah.
It is an underperforming year.
Big grand final hangover.
100% it was. And they had no injury excuses, really. Yeah. They had no departures. It's, if anything, they're the same team, slightly healthier.
Yeah.
And had better youth progression.
Yeah, exactly right. There was no excuse. They could only have got better from last year, from their list on a black and white format. But they've just underperformed vastly this year. But to be fair, they've also sort of overperformed.
Well, they shouldn't have made finals.
They shouldn't have.
But they're here.
Halfway through the season, it looked like there was no chance they'd make finals and they'd really underperform.
Yeah.
But they've made it into finals, given themselves a sniff, just like they've done last year, just like they did in 2016. You never know. They could win it from here.
100% they can. They've done it before. All right. Now, before we get into our Fremantle and Doggies case to win this game, let's have a quick ad break from our partner, Bet with Joel.
What am I remembering that, by the way?
Yeah, I did well there.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, Fremantle. I'm in on Fremantle. Before I get into Fremantle, I'm going to say Fremantle, they are my tip to make the grand final.
Wow.
They will make the grand final. They've got the most perfect run along finals. They'll beat Bulldogs. They'll beat Collingwood. And they'll go to the prelim final and they'll beat Sydney or Melbourne.
Wow.
They will make the grand final. $9.50. Heard it here first on the Winger podcast. Fremantle are making the grand final.
Huge
All right,
call.
Let's get into it for this week. Now, Freo's case to win. The second best defense in the league all year. Been impossible to score against, and they are just such a well-coached team. It's so hard to stop when you know how well structured they are in defence.
Yeah.
How do you break that down?
It's almost impossible. The way they set up behind the ball is fantastic, and it's really all credit to the running of the team.
Yep.
Their running is phenomenal. If there's a single player out of position, it seems like every other player on the field knows that, and they know who's going there to fix that. And if you look at them from the angle behind the play, it's poetic.
Yeah, it
if
is.
you love defense. So what they're doing this season, it's repeatable. And you know what? For years to come, it's going to be very hard to break down.
It's very much like what Ross Lyon used to do at Fremantle and St Kilda. It's boring football, but it wins.
It is.
All right, 8 of 12 at home, they've won.
Wow.
Pretty handy. It's no surprise. Usually the Perth teams are very strong at home, but 8 of 12 isn't scary, but it's very, very good. They've done their job and they've got a proper home ground advantage. That's the main thing. Now they won 3 in a row heading into finals. Nat Fyfe is returning. And not to mention, this is the main part here. 3 in a row with Nat 5 coming in. But one of those 3 in a row was against the team they're playing this weekend, and that's the Western Bulldogs.
And that was away.
That was away at Marvel, and they put them away by 20-odd points.
Huge.
It's the perfect run. They should be full of confidence in this game, and they should be going in favourites, which they are.
Also, the case for Freo as well, I've got down here is the Bulldogs love to go through the corridor.
Yep.
All they do, handball through the corridor. And for some reason, only one team this season just thought, you know what, we're just going to clog the corridor. And they're going to have to take the wings. And that was Fremantle.
The best coach team in the league.
Exactly right. Clogged the corridor, sat there, didn't let them get the chain handballs through, and they couldn't get a run on whatsoever. And Freo would come down the other end, counter-attack, and easily score every time. Also another one, Doggies struggle at Optus Stadium.
They do.
They've won one game ever
At Optus.
at Optus Stadium.
Wow.
Where'd they play the grand final last season?
At Optus.
Exactly
They
right.
got blown out the water.
Really struggle at Optus Stadium. For whatever reason it is, maybe it's a mental thing, maybe it's the travel, maybe it's the size of the ground. But over the last 5 or 6 years since Optus has been around, they've really struggled. So that's why I'm going to be taking Freo, I reckon.
Wow. All right. What's Doggies' case to win? Well, they might suck at Optus, but they have a finals experience.
Yep.
They have the most experienced team in this final series, tied with...
Geelong.
Was it Geelong? No, it wasn't actually. Geelong was second by a game.
There you go.
It was, I think it might have been Brisbane, actually, believe it or not. So there you go. Most finals games played per team, whatever it was. But finals experience, just 12 months ago, they were in this exact same position pretty well.
Yep.
But they were in the same position in finals, made the grand final. They've got what it takes, this team.
Yep.
Let's not get it twisted. They have what it takes. And this has been the number one thing they've had all year, and they're the number one best clearance team in the AFL. To star-powered midfield, we shouldn't be surprised. Bailey Smith, Jack McRae, Josh Dunkley, Treloar, Bontempelli, the list goes on. This team is stacked in the midfield.
Libba,
probably the most important one there, and I missed him.
Yeah.
That shows how deep it goes. You can list 6 star on ballers. That is unbelievable. So they've got the midfield to win games with the Tim English, who's been really rejuvenated and fantastic.
Yeah.
They can win a game. And they've won 4 of their last 6. So they've got in okay.
Speaking of in the exact same spot as last year, every time they've made a grand final over the last 30 years, they've been in a win or lose situation. No second chance, no top 4. That's always where they've made it from.
One of them 8th in 2016.
Exactly right. The only team to do that.
Ever, yep.
So they've got that on their back. History is on their side to some
100%.
extent. And also, a player that's hitting his straps, 2 players in fact, are the 2 key forwards, Jamara Ugle-Hagan and Darcy.
Yeah, Darcy. Not much Norton, Darcy.
Darcy, exactly right. They've been unbelievable this season. Revelations in the second half, and have been a real reason that they've been a rejuvenated list. Really, like Darcy against the Hawks down in Tassie was unreal, and probably one of the main reasons they won that. Jamara Ugle-Hagan took over the Demons and was the best player on the ground by far, and looked like the best player in the competition for about 40 minutes. So. If those guys get firing, it could be a really disastrous end for Freo.
100%. All right, let's get into where the game will be won or lost. Hit-outs and Lloyd Meek.
Who would have thought, after all the star power that we've just named, Lloyd Meek would be the man that's going to get Freo over the line?
Hear me out. So Doc is the top 2 in the league for hit-outs, primarily due to Sean Darcy being a star, and Lloyd Meek, who averages 17-odd hit-outs a game, has only played 6 games all year. However, in those 6 games that Lloyd Meek has played, they are 5-1. And he will most likely play this weekend with Rory Lobb not playing. They're 5-1. They beat Geelong in one of those 6. They beat Brisbane in one of those 6.
Huge scalps.
Huge scalps. And Meek had 16 or more hit-outs in 5 of those 6 games. So when he comes into the team, what does that say? It says, all right, they're willing to go with him as a ruckman primarily in the forward line. Midfield doesn't matter. He takes the weight off Darcy's shoulders and they become a tag team. And it works. Then they come up against a team like the Bulldogs. Gives up the 4th most hit-outs of any team. And that's against the team that has the most, top 2 in the league. And that's not including Meek all year.
Wow.
If you throw in a Meek all year, they'll be the number 1 hit-out team all year. So expect a ruck domination from Meek and Darcy. Forward line and in the guts. Do not worry. They'll be dominating it all day. Brayshaw and Mundy, they're going to have a field day.
Yeah.
Whatever their line is to touches, take them both overs. Because they're going to have first touch no matter what, and that's going to nullify Bulldogs' clearance numbers. It's going to nullify Bulldogs' just overall possession-heavy game.
Yeah, it's hard when you're not getting the silver service.
No, 100%. Of course it is. And where else is this game going to be won or lost? Scores inside 50. Fremantle number 1 ranked defensively for conceding a score from an inside 50.
Wow.
So when you go into Fremantle's defense, you only score 38% of the time.
Wow.
So that's a goal behind. That's so low.
Incredibly low.
You're going in 10 times, you're not even getting 4 scores. That is an unbelievable stat to say that. Now, expect the Doggies to struggle to get a score, obviously, due to that stat. But when they do get a score, what has Doggies shown us the last 3-4 years and this year?
Can't kick.
They can't kick. They're top 5 in the league for behinds. They're bottom 9 in accuracy this year. And not to mention, they've got a bunch of kids. Kids have been great.
Yeah.
But where a kid's probably going to be a little bit worried and a little bit scared.
On the big stage.
On a big stage. 60,000 fans, you would expect, packed house in Fremantle. Probably half these players have never played there before.
Yeah,
these kids.
Yeah.
Darcy's played 2 games. You've got Hagen's probably never been there. This is Norton as well. He's still only 22, despite, or 20, whatever he is, 22.
Yeah.
Despite his experience.
And if they can't do it on a windy night at Marvel Stadium against Essendon, who's going to say they're going to do it in Optus, crowd going?
Exactly right.
60,000 Fremantle fans that haven't seen their team play finals in God knows how long.
Exactly right.
It's going to be a huge moment.
100%, and they can blow in Fremantle, like you said. They usually play under a roof. So, huge issue there for Bulldogs. I tried to find one stat for Bulldogs, couldn't. All right, predictions. Dogger, you've said something here. You can have it. Who's your prediction?
I'm going with Fremantle this week against the Western Bulldogs is my lock of the year.
Lock of the year.
Lock of the year.
Love it.
Lock it in, throw the key away, take their line, take anything. I think Freo are going to rock up, get the job done, and I don't see any way for the Bulldogs to win this one.
Completely agree. Fremantle by 30 odd for me. They get this job done. It won't be beautiful. It won't be pretty, but they'll get the job done, and they're going to go all the way to the grand final.
Wow. Now that is a couple of big calls right there.
We've read a lot. We can't wait. If Bulldogs win this game, we're fucked.
Oh, yeah, big time. This will be deleted. You will never hear this again. Don't worry.
Won't see it ever again. All right, beautiful episode. That is our 4 finals games, all previews done. We'll be back next week with the 2 semi-finals, and then so on, so forth. So thank you very much for listening.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram.
@Winger Podcast.
Follow us on TikTok.
@Winger Podcast.
And also have a listen to us on Spotify.
@Winger Podcast.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Perla. Nice, mate. Unreal.
Smashed it. I reckon we killed that, eh?
Yeah.